So, in the last episode, I talked about how to boost your influence as a UX leader by focusing on the right activities and building your reputation. But this time, I want to explore something that is slightly different but closely related, and that's how do you actually shift your organization's culture to be more user centric? Now, I know that sounds like a lot of work and an impossible task, and yes, there is a lot of effort involved. But if you've been applying what we've covered in previous lessons, you've likely done much of the groundwork already. Plus, culture hacking is surprisingly fun, at least in my opinion. There are four main techniques that can be used to embed UX into your organization's DNA. First of all, there's engagement and collaboration. You're probably doing this already in your day-to-day work. The goal is to amp it up and bring more people into the UX conversation. Secondly, there's education and awareness, which we've talked about extensively in earlier lessons. It's about helping colleagues understand what UX is and why it matters. Then there's feedback and iteration, creating systems that give people ongoing visibility into how the user experience is impacting your products. And then finally, we've got celebration and reinforcement, recognizing and highlighting UX wins to build momentum. So let's walk through each of these and give some practical examples that you can try, starting with engagement and collaboration. This is about bringing people together and getting them excited about the user experience. A few tactics that work well are hackathons, where you organize an event with diverse teams collaborating on user-centered solutions. And the emphasis in these hackathons is on creativity and fun. Let people dream up great user experiences without getting bogged down too much in compliance issues or technical limitations. Then there's UX champions, finding people across your organization who already care about the user experience and bring them together. Create a space where they can come together either in Teams or Slack to share their experiences and frustrations. Share educational material with them, invest in these people so that they become user experience ambassadors across the organization. And then finally, there's inclusive workshops. Consider traditional workshops, but expand who you invite. Include people that you would never normally invite, like legal or compliance people. The more you engage with these people, the more they understand what you do, and the more willing they'll be to adapt the way that they work to support better user experiences. But beyond engagement and collaboration is education and awareness. And here's some of the techniques for building UX awareness that have worked particularly well for me. The first is storytelling sessions, lunch and learn sessions, where you get people together for 20 to 30 minutes. But instead of presenting UX best practice, ask people to share terrible user experiences that they've personally encountered. Not from the company, obviously, because that's going to cause resentment. But get people to share the frustrations that they've had in their day-to-day life. People love having a good moan, and it builds empathy for what users are going through. Then there's gamification. Introducing game-like elements can incentivize stakeholders. For example, I once created a leaderboard ranking different departments based on their ability to deliver outstanding experiences. Instead of a boring monthly analytical report filled with vanity metrics, we showed UX performance metrics that sparked healthy competition between teams. And then there's empathy training. Create exercises to help stakeholders put themselves in the user's position. This might involve completing user tasks themselves or viewing pages with a limited amount of time to simulate scanning behavior or sitting in on user testing. There is all kinds of different possibilities. And finally, there's culture hack days, dedicated time for teams to discuss how to create more engaging user experiences and create a more user-centric organization. Ask them directly what needs to change and encourage brainstorming sessions. And beyond that, then we get into feedback and iteration, visual management tools, so things like dashboards or leaderboards to display user feedback and UX project metrics. Keep UX goals visible and actionable at all times. For example, in one organization where I worked, we updated the content management system to have a new user-centric information architecture. And to help content creators adapt, we created a dashboard showing them all of the pages they were responsible for. But alongside that, we also included user feedback. We included a simple poll on every page asking users if they found the page helpful or not. And we then provided that data through the dashboard to the content creators. And we, alongside that, provided tips for improvement right there on the dashboard. And it created a continuous feedback loop that kept people engaged with how users were experiencing their content. And then finally, we come to celebration and reinforcement. It's important to build up your colleagues and acknowledge their successes. Celebrate user milestones and project successes related to UX improvements. When celebrating, focus on the product owner and team rather than your individual contributions. Highlight the techniques that were used and the results that were achieved, and try to attach financial value when you can. Also, consider implementing a recognition program. Annual awards for the most user-centric people or teams can work well. It might sound cheesy, but it generates genuine excitement around user experience. Finally, maintain regular check-ins with product owners and stakeholders. Hold discussions about UX best practice, share updates, and celebrate progress to sustain momentum and enthusiasm. Together, these 4 techniques give you a solid foundation for culture hacking. But there's one thread that runs through all of this, and that's the need to actively market and promote user experience across your organization. So, in the next lesson, I want to explore specific tactics for proactively marketing UX design within your organization. Because sometimes being a good UXer isn't enough. You need to be good at talking about it too.